Well, hello there, how is everyone? I hope you're all well. Now this, by the way, this right here is video 2 of 3. Later on, I'm probably going to say this is video 2 of 2, when in fact that's video 3 of 3. This is kind of a video that was spurned by JB Gunner. And look, me and JB Gunner have had some backwards and forwards, but look, this is what I've got to say about this entire situation. There's numerous types of creators, and some are a rarity and some are 10 a penny. And I class myself and JB Gunner as creators who are more of a rarity. We don't, even though I'm a monetized account, so I have to be more careful than what JB Gunner does. He is not monetized, so he is, unlike Tyler Feller, he is 100% crowdfunded. So he does get a freedom that I do not have. But ultimately, I will still stick my neck on the line, stick my channel on the line every time I say something that swims against the current. And if you don't believe that, trust me, that's a fact. Now, with regards to the Idaho 4 case in particular, JB Gunner done a video, and he'd done a video earlier today that was talking about a comment that he had received on his channel. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm going to go through this specific comment that he received, because it's a comment that's mirrored on this account every day, every single day, multiple times in different formats. But the overarching narrative of that comment is echoed throughout the channels that are like mine and JB Gunner's. And it does, as JB Gunner alludes to the fact, it does prove that the Idaho 4 case is not being listened to. People are not listening, or they're listening to the wrong people and they're coming to the wrong conclusion. Now, you will know, if you've been around this channel for a while, I will multiple times, or I have multiple times, requested that where people do genuinely believe that Bryan Kohberger is indeed guilty of this crime, beyond a reasonable doubt, based on what we've been told as fact and know as fact. And even though I've done the videos that I've done, the vast majority of what I talk about is my own opinion. It is not factual. Unless we're talking about court documents, and even that you could argue that it may not be factual. The point being that we have very limited resources with respect of a conduit to truth and fact. But yet so many people are condemning someone. Or so many people where you question someone, they say that you're in the wrong. And you feel that there's a little bit of a situation here where people are very hypocritical because of their mindset, because of how they've interpreted what they've seen and what they've heard, it gives them the right to back a certain corner. But you're not allowed to back a varying corner. And that's where you get this unfair playing field. An unfair playing field, because it proves that people are very easily swayed, very easily convinced of someone's guilt, and these are the sort of people who could potentially end up on a jury. And I see it multiple times when comments like this will crop up, and people will rightfully say, I wouldn't want you on a jury. I hope to God that someone like you is not on this jury. But let's have a look at this comment. And I'm going to do what JB Gunner does. And if you're interested in listening to JB Gunner do it on his own channel, please, the link will be in the description of this video. Do go and listen. And let me know what you think. But here we go. I'm not going to say who it is. I'm just going to read it. Given the information we have, nothing suggests anything other than BK being the killer. So nothing suggests anyone other than BK being the killer. Which, to a degree, from a court document perspective, that statement is correct. There's nothing in the court documents that would suggest anything other than BK, because that's the point of it. That's the point of the prosecution's job, not to put multiple people across, but put one person across and then trying to ballast that. What we know about him, he has all the signs of an incel. Really? What one piece of evidence or information do we have that supports that statement? Is it the fact that he was seen at The Handmaid's Tale, for instance? Was that? Or the fact that the vast majority of his defence team are female? Is it that? Is it the fact that he clearly was looking for women on Tinder? Because he'd been on a Tinder date, even though it was with some weirdo. And he's not... And at that stage, it seems he was a little bit, perhaps... He wasn't as good as I am with the women. Not as good as me with the ladies. Do you know what I mean? He was a bit of an amateur. But he was putting himself out there. Was it that? Was it the fact that other females had approached him for help and assistance when they felt in danger and he had gone to help them? Was it that? Or was it when he helped save the life of an elderly female by obtaining the heart machine that... can't remember what they're called, defibrillator. Like mobile ones, aren't they, that are on walls and stuff. But he assisted in the helping to save the life of a female. Was it that? Is it that? I don't know. Or, not to mention, the Asian girl who was mentioned in the court documents. Again, pointed out recently by JB Gunner because many people missed it. Anyway, let's continue. He studied serial killers for a reason. No, he studied criminology, and part of studying criminology would be that he would look at the crimes done by serial killers, and he obviously had an interest in that field. Now, I study serial killers, probably because I am not looking for a professional career in law enforcement. That could be classed as more odd than someone who is looking for a career in law enforcement, but who am I? He went in to kill Maddie due to her not acknowledging him on Instagram DMs, and he hadn't been planned on Kaylee being in the same bed. This is when the plan started to unravel. Again, that is complete and utter speculation. Now, he could be right. He could be right, but we know that from official court documentation, the defence, and Taylor has alluded to the fact that there is no connection between Bryan, her client, and the victims. That's official. That's official documentation. So there is nothing to support this. This is nothing more than a theory. And it's a theory that holds weight, certainly does hold weight that he could have gone in there to attack Maddie and got caught off guard by Kaylee, or vice versa even. Who knows? It could be, and it makes sense. But that is speculation. Utter speculation, sprinkled with a piece of information that have been obtained via social media that were again speculating that he had been sliding into the DMs of Madison Mogen. Now, he lost his sheath during the struggle. Again, this is not a proven fact. It's not a proven fact. This is, again, speculation. But this person is pushing this as fact. While attempting to leave, he ran into Ethan and then Xana, so they had become collateral damage. We do not know if he actually saw the other roommate. He either didn't see her or he was exhausted by having to kill 4 people when he planned on just one. There's a Walmart receipt for Dickie coveralls, and we know he had a mask with gloves. He would have taken this stuff off when he got back to his car and stashed them in a garbage bag. So again, this is simply speculation. This is not something that has been proven. This is not something that has been pushed as accurate. This has not been documented. This is not something that we're through the court process and this has come out and been brought to light and the arguments have happened. This is someone who is guessworking, and they've failed to explain why, while this crime was happening, he still managed to disrobe, if you like, within the period of time, considering that we've got a very small period of time, got out of the house, didn't take anything out of the house, and the car was completely free of DNA or in addition to that, there was also no evidence that the car had been cleaned to strip back any DNA. Again, as stated by Ann Taylor. He already would have had clean clothes under his coveralls. Everyone seems to point to the old blog post being from him, in which he speaks to his lack of feeling or empathy for others. And this post was a post that was debunked, I believe, by Sleuthy Goosey, which was the guy who was talking about visual snow, so on and so forth. Please let me know down below if you saw that. We're going back some time. It's like the Papa Rogers, isn't that a singer? Papa Rogers. Now, Papa Rogers' account, again, this was something that was shown on Twitter, and I did a video specifically on this. The Papa Rogers account was releasing information that had already been put out by another gentleman. And I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I did a video on it. So the Papa Rogers account weren't bringing out new information. They were just a member of another group where somebody else was releasing these posts, and then Papa Rogers was copying them. So some of the posts that really freaked people out, like the knife being talked about in the car and the position of the bodies, were both incorrect and had already been stated by someone else prior to that account doing so. Where are we? He has all the hallmark signs of an incel. So they've gone back to that again, which we've covered that. The thing that people seem to get hung up on is the 8-hour delay in calling the police. There will be a reason for that, which they haven't released. James Fry didn't know what that was, and went as red as a tomato when he was asked and questioned about it. There is no explanation for it. Now, they can give an excuse for it. They could have said that they were asleep, or they thought that this was normal, so they didn't think anything of it. The issue comes when you try and pair that you're completely sort of ignorant to the atrocities that happen in the home, but then frozen shock phase, because you can't be frozen in shock unless you see something. But then if you're frozen and you're affected in that way, then technically you're not going to make a very good witness, and that's going to affect their ability to utilise her as a witness. So it will be interesting to see how that plays up and how Ann Taylor pulls that apart. But again, this is speculation that you're saying that this is going to be easily explained, because at the moment it's not easily explained, and there's many thousands of people who are looking at this content, and not any single person can give a plausible explanation as to why that delay occurred. People can have their ideas and thoughts and feelings about it, but realistically none of it makes sense, because you've got to try and have your cake and eat it by explaining it. Frozen shock phase, didn't hear anything, party house, the 2 stories that were changed, the text messages now that have come about, who knows. What do we got? There will be a reason for this which hasn't been released. There are multiple reasons why this could have happened. It's rarely simple, and law enforcement did a great job. Given what we know about BK, he's the perfect picture of someone who would become a serial killer. How is it? The guy is a 28-year-old criminology student working towards his doctorate. He's clearly clever, and he had an entire future ahead of him. He had females who were obviously interested in him and trusted him around him. Did he have problems with a professor? Were there issues there? Were they clashing? Possibly. But that's not uncommon. I don't think I've yet worked in a job where I haven't had an issue with someone. In fact, I came out of a job where I was in middle management for over a decade because of one of the managers, the area directors, who I just didn't like. They were a tosser. And it was either leave or smash his face in. So look, at the end of the day, these comments are rife. Absolutely rife, all over channels, and they're all on channels that are given Bryan Kohberger the benefit of the doubt. But when you dig deep into them, not even having to dig that deep, you can clearly see that the decisions and the mindsets of these people have been coerced and controlled by media. People can't think for themselves. People can't look for themselves. People can't dig. If you want to condemn a man to death, at least have the decency to yourself do the digging. Hold the shovel if you want to bury someone. Don't let someone else dig the hole and you just push them in it and trust what they're saying. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to be wrong. JB did a good job of calling this out, because this is rife and it's wrong. Catch you all in the next one.